this particular um, uh, screen will start now with the PPT. Yeah, coming back here, we'll go still somewhat other. Yeah, yeah. As we have told you in our last class, that assume that when frame from host A that is addressed to host B arrives on a port 1, there is no need for the bridge to forward the frame out over a port 2. Why? Because both A and B has been connected to only port 1. If A, B, C, either systems wants to send a packet to X, Y, Z, then from port 1, the packet should be forwarded to port 2, the other port. So that we had discussed in a last class. Now, as we have seen that how a table will be taken into the consideration, that is ABC is connected to port 1 and XYZ is connected to port 2 of a same bridge or on a LAN switch, which we are going to consider. Now, can the bridge learn this information by itself? What are the systems it has been connected? Yes, it can learn by itself. How it will learn? So what systems is connected to me? Why? I told you the reason. If a static systems is there, manual entry is okay, not an issue. One network administrator will be there. He will enter so and so systems has been connected to this port and so systems has been connected to this port and all. When it is a static systems, means systems will not change, wired connection will be there, always it will be there like that. But nowadays network is not like that. Nowadays Wi-Fi is there, means in our college only, assume that in our department only Wi-Fi connection is also there and a wired connection is also there. But in a Wi-Fi connection, who will be connected at which time, who will move out from that access point to another access point, so these things will be there. So like that, whenever there is no definite that this particular user will be device will be there, always connected to the switch or on a bridge, then automatically it should learn dynamically, it should update the table. So how it will get the information? Each bridge inspects the source address in all the frames it receives. That means any source request the switch or on a bridge that I want to send a packet to so and so destination. Once it will ask, then automatically it will make record of that. That is, this particular source is connected to so and so port of me. When a bridge first boots, this table is empty, as I told in starting now. Now entries are added over a time whenever a request is coming from the sources. At a timeout is associated with each entry. That is, if you want to connect to that particular network, first you have to do the registration under that particular router. Otherwise, you will be not enable to be connected to that particular router. So within a time, you have to do that particular thing. In our college example, if you take without login, you can't go with an internet. Nowadays, what they have did in our college that once your two devices, either mobile or on a laptop, should be registered to the Wi-Fi with an password. Once it has been registered, that two systems, no other devices will be let you to connect to the, our network. This thing newly it has been adapted in a BMSIT. How they will do that? How they will identify your two devices or on a system? This is a one which important thing which you must know. In a data center, whatever a router is there, whenever you will make, means you will switch on your Wi-Fi, you can use the internet. Before that, you have to register your devices. That is it. What is that registration? You are making that particular router to know that you are the authenticated user of the BMSIT network. Once if you do that, automatically the MAC address of your, means the physical address of your devices will be registered under your username in that particular router. Once, then again, whenever afterwards, whenever you will connect to the Wi-Fi, then automatically you can keep on using the internet now in a BMSIT campus. Now, how these things will be done? Then it will cross check. Yes, this is connected. Means, for example, MCA department is connected to port 1. In that, so many users are there who are registered users, and these many MAC address which has been registered, means physical addresses which has been registered. So it will evaluate. Yes, he is authenticated person. So internet will be given to you. Any doubt on this real-time example? You can ask me. Any doubt? Anybody? Anybody? Any doubt is there? Identifying the user in our data center with our router. So that on that concept, or I am speaking with you. Hello? Any doubt is there? You can ask me. Any doubt? Any doubt is there?
No, sir.
Yeah, this is a one real-time example of our data center itself. So I repeat once again. So once your two devices register, for example, what happened to me, I will tell you. When I registered with my Oppo mobile and my laptop, it's done. By chance, my mobile has been lost, and I have gone with another. I've purchased another mobile. Then I tried with another mobile. It's not making me to connect to the BMSIT Wi-Fi. Then I asked again, Muralidhar sir, so sir, why this is not connecting? He told, no, it has been only two devices given to a person. Your other device is registered. Then what to do, sir? I want to do. Then you do one thing, you send a mail stating like that, I have this device I don't want, means mobile I don't want, I want a new device to connect. Then what they will do as a network administrator, in a router, whatever a MAC address or a physical address of that device has been registered, Oppo mobile, they will manually, means they will delete from that. So once it has been deleted, then another chance is there, means two devices, another chance is there. Then he told me, again, what you have to do, whatever your username and a password is there, you enter that and go to that particular 10 dot some address he told. So I entered, I gone to that particular address. He told, yes, from that device you have to do that. This is the one particular important concept you have to know. Which device you want to register, from that device you have to enter a username and a password, and later on you have to enter that particular address. What is that IP address he has told, means that is a router address which he has told. So that router address, if we enter, then automatically the router will register, means it will connect to our device, it will register our device MAC address, then automatically it will release us. So in this way, it will be done. Why I am telling this particular thing is, at that dynamic stage, how the registrations will be done. You must know that. Coming to the next thing, the bridge discuss the entry after a specific period of time. So if the bridge receives a frame that is addressed to the host non currently in the table, forward the frame out on all other ports. So that is, if the guest user is there, assume for example. So if he doesn't face like that, authentication is there in our process, in our example. But here what happens in general, when you go to coffee days, or when you go to any hotels and all, they will tell you free Wi-Fi is there. Otherwise, assume that when you use a Uber, when you use any Olas like that, they will tell you free Wi-Fi is there. Okay. So how you will come to know that at that particular time, a password will be given to you, username and a password will be given to you. If you enter that particular time, you will be registered. How you will be registered, means based on that particular username and a password, the registration will be done in that particular table. Now this is different example what I am telling. One is a static example what I tell you. There it's a definite. You are a college student, frequently you will come another 4 years. So after fourth year or after third year of yours, it will be deleted. Until then, it will be not deleted. It's a closed system like that. But here in a Uber or Ola or any hotels like that example, if you see there, permanent users will not be there. Use and go users will be there. Then how there the router should maintain this particular traffic? In that particular sense, what happens? So there will be a one particular timeout. Whatever username and login you will do, if you enter that, it should be matched one time, two times, three times. Otherwise, it never enters you to do that particular thing. So in this way, based on the real-time example, this particular concept will be keep on working. Any doubts in between also, you can interrupt me. Coming to the next thing. Now you see that particular figure. This is very much important here. Now, if you observe this A, B, C, D, whatever is there, assume this is a different lands here. So whatever alphabets is there. And starting with a B1, B2, B3, B4, assume these are the bridges. I mean, LAN switches which is there between this particular LAN networks. So now this LAN networks, for example, you observe here, means LAN A is connected to two switches, that is two bridges, that is B3 and B5. For example, LAN C is connected with bridge the B3 and bridge B2. Now coming to D, it is connected to B1 and B5. Now coming to B LAN, it has been connected with B5 and B7. Now observe, this is a one particular network which is there, frames potentially loop through the extended LAN forever. If you can think these LANs as a different other networks or branches of our college. Now what is a loop here? This is very much important. If you doesn't consider a loop, so your frame or a packet will be in a continuous that loop. Now observe here, bridges B1, B4, B6 form a loop. Observe now, what is B1? B1 is there here, am I right? B4 is there and B6 is there. Now observe these three particular bridges or switches. So this particular bridges or switches, whatever is there, this will form one particular cycle. What is this particular cycle? Just a loop. I will tell you. For example, I will tell you like this. Assume B6 wants to send on a packet to B7. Just for a sake, I will tell you. Now, what happens? Means a request will be given to B1. B1 in turn will request will be given both to wherever LANs means switches it has been connected. So which LAN it will come to H and it will ask with F also, and in turn it will come to B4. Again B4 doesn't know that B6 is a source. Again it will ask there with a B6. So like this, a continuous loop will be formed. This is the one dangerous zone, a deadlock zone where it will keep on rotating. So to solve this particular problem, now how does an extended LAN come to have a loop in it? Network is managed by more than one administrator always. So for example, it spans a multiple departments in an organization. As I told you that our college is there, and in our college there are 8 departments and an hostel. It is possible that no single person knows the entire configuration of the network 100%. Why? Because different administrators will be there and each one is maintaining a different departments. A bridge that closes a loop might be added without anyone knowing. So what do you mean by this? Means interconnected. One bridge or one router, if you interconnect, if you make a cycle, so automatically your packet will be keep on moving in that particular deadlock loop. Loops are built into the network to provide a redundancy in case of failures. Why loops is needed? You can ask me the question, why sir two bridges always LANs, whatever you have told in a figure, each LAN is connected to two bridges. Why? Because if one bridge fails, let the packet will move with another bridge. This is the intention that each LAN means is connected with at least two bridges. Why? Because if one bridge, for example, I'll tell you like that, assume MCA department. MCA department is connected to one particular bridge of means mechanical and MCA department connected. MCA and CS is connected, assume, with CS router like that. Now this mechanical connected router, if it fails, assume only one router is there, then entire MCA department should keep aside, from a network. So this is not quite good. So if another chance is there, means another route is there to move, then it will be good. Because of that particular reason, always a loop will be there in a network. Then you can ask me the question that, sir, both things you only telling. That is, if loop is there, deadlocks will occur, means packet will keep on rotating. And other thing you have told like this, that is, it is helpful that another choice of taken, means route will be there. For this, what is a solution? A solution is very clear, that is distributed spanning tree algorithm. Now, before this, you must know what is a spanning tree. Means in a connected graph, when assume that G is in a connected graph, in that T is in a spanning tree, that is a subgraph of G, which will contains all the nodes of G. I trust this point. What is a spanning tree? Why word spanning tree will come? A spanning tree is in a subgraph of a connected graph G, where all nodes of the G or main graph will be there in this subgraph. Tree means there will be no loops. Assume in a graph theory, when we call one thing entity as a tree, means the tree will never have a loops. That is, here without a loop, all nodes of graph G is there in a spanning tree. That means, imagine, that means all nodes, connected nodes are there. That means one way or the other way, every node is there here where loops are not there. Now automatically our problem has been solved. Now how these things will work? Coming to this, now you see, think of the extended LAN as being presented by a graph that possible as loops or a cycles, means entire graph it has been taken. A spanning tree is a subgraph of this graph that covers all the vertices, means all the nodes, but contains no cycles. Spanning tree, no cycles, all the vertices. These three words you have to keep in your mind. Now come below, you can see. This is a one thing. Spanning tree keeps all the vertices of the original graph, but throws out some of the edges. Assume this is the one particular closed graph. Okay. Assume this is a network. Now, out of this particular thing, you should take this as a B as a corresponding spanning tree. That is, all the vertices of A is there in this B, but no cycles is there. You observe here, no cycles is there. Are you seeing here? No cycles is there. Now, this is called as a spanning tree. In this, what is a distributed spanning tree? It will take, means n 2 to the power of n minus 1 spanning trees you can make in one particular graph, where n represents a number of nodes. So based on this particular thing, means formula, that many spanning trees you can consider. So which spanning tree we should take? That is a minimum spanning tree you have to take into the consideration, that which you have already discussed in algorithms, that is Prim's algorithm and a Kruskal algorithm will do this particular concept. What is the Prim's and Kruskal will do? It will find a minimum spanning tree of that entire graph. Now you understood, that is a minimum path where all nodes has been connected, which will be taken into the consideration, and that path will be used as a routing path. So where the interconnection between mathematics, algorithms, and networks, these things you have to observe. This is very much important. So these things you have to observe. So in practical also, we are using the spanning tree or a Prim's or a Kruskal's algorithm, which you have already studied. Now, spanning tree algorithm, you see here, developed by Perlman at Digital, a protocol used by a set of bridges to agree upon a spanning tree for a particular extended LAN. So this will works with the protocol 802.1 specific for LAN bridges is based on this algorithm. So each bridge decides the ports over which it is and is not willing to forward the frames. In a sense, the extended LAN is reduced to an acyclic tree. That means, so wherever in Prim's algorithm and all, you know that once means this particular node is there, out of these two means whatever neighbors are there, which is the shortest path neighbor, you will take that particular neighbor. Now again you will consider these two particular nodes, out of this again which is a less particular stuff, you so you will take that. Even Kruskal's algorithm, you will keep on removing the edges where it will make the cycles. So in this particular thing, you will prepare an acyclic graph. So details are not covered for the exam purposes in this particular thing. Take a point. Spanning tree algorithm removes the cycles loops from the extended bridges or on a lance. Right. Now coming to the limitations of bridges or on a disadvantages, you can call it as, or some limitations is there. Do not scale. This is a very much important concept where you must know this. So what is a scale? Means extending the nodes. So extending the nodes, again you have to do a fresh spanning tree once if you are extending the particular nodes. So for that particular tree, you adding up of the things or new devices will become a problem. So spanning tree algorithm does not scale. So this is one thing. Broadcast does not scale. So broadcast problem is also, means it will move. For example, if this is a node, if it wants to send a byte, it will ask whatever connected neighbors is there, everything it will keep on broadcasting. Nodes get bothered with too many broadcasts, the bridges forward to all nodes. This is very much important. That is always these bridges will keep on asking the nodes that what broadcasting messages, that is either you are connected to me or not, or who is your neighbor, like this. This is a particular disadvantage. Do not accommodate heterogeneity. This is very much important. Today the world is depending on heterogeneity network. That is with a mobile I will connect with an internet, with a mobile I will chat with a person who is sitting with a desktop system, who is using a chatting there, or like this heterogeneous networks is there, satellite networking, mobile networking, and other networks which is there. So this heterogeneity will be there. Now this heterogeneity will not be supported. That is Ethernet with Ethernet you have to do, Wi-Fi with Wi-Fi only you have to do. This is one of the main disadvantage in bridges. So where bridges is very much useful, bridges are very much useful, that either you have to use only Wi-Fi, either you have to use only a static wired Ethernet LAN. Both I will use if you ask that question. In our college, we are having a both. That is, in our lab, connected Ethernet is there. When you come out of the lab, when you sit in a seminar hall and wherever in a corridors, even Wi-Fi is also there. Now this is a combination. Both means the router should connect to both the access points as well as this internet also. It should rectify you. But this concept will not be there. So that is a one important thing which you should know. That is Ethernet with Ethernet should be there, Wi-Fi with Wi-Fi. For this, the solution is virtual LAN. That is VLAN. With this, how a VLAN will be taken into consideration. In a VLAN, how a port header is added, means a port number is added into the header part of that particular frame. And that and all we'll discuss in coming class. Okay, that is there here. So we'll discuss in how a virtual LANs everything will work. Afterwards, we'll move to the internet working, and there I will explain you the IP packet format. Any doubts is there in this particular class? You can ask me. Any doubt is there? Any doubt is there? Come on, any doubt is there? Anybody? No, sir. So only 17 are there. After repeated times we are telling you, only 17 members are there. Please connect everyone. Make a almost all. If you attend, you can ask me the doubts in online only. After seeing a video means you will be not so means relevant things. So you can connect, at least you try to connect. So tomorrow tomorrow means not Sunday. Monday will sorry. Monday we'll go with a lab program, that is a leaky bucket program. So that is also a C program where you can execute in your houses. So network simulator is not needed there, so which you can execute. We'll discuss that once. If you discuss that program also, part A of 4 programs will be completed. So Monday we'll go with a lab program. I will explain how a leaky bucket algorithm will work in beginning. Later on, we'll go with a program one step by step, and we'll discuss how that particular leaky bucket algorithm will control the congestion in a network. So what will be how input you have to give and how output you can expect from that particular thing. We'll discuss on Monday. Meanwhile, I will put a Monday. I think we are having a class on Monday. I will check it out with the timetable. If Monday class is not there, so definitely Tuesday we'll go with. Means Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday. Only 4 classes, right? Yeah. Monday class is not there. If class is not there Monday, then definitely Tuesday. Tuesday 10:50 classes, in that particular class we'll discuss where you can practice that particular program. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.